G'day everyone, welcome back to another Fantasy and SuperCoach review on the channel. We're going to be reviewing my round 4 teams. And yeah, just like last week, we improved in ranks in both formats, which we love to see. So start to now creep up the overall rankings, which is a good thing. We'll kick off with Fantasy though, and for round 4, I did get a 21-32. Moved up a little bit, probably about 800, 900 spots or so from last week. And I'll take that in a best 22 format because, yeah, I think a few people did field a few low scores. And I felt, looking at my team here, you know, Gallagher 51. 𝐬𝐴mbrosio was a bit quiet, but had a good last term. Yeah, we'll kick off with the defence. First up, Nick Daicos. 95, and looking like now, after a fantastic round 1, I'm totally wrong. I think the better decision definitely was to fade this guy because he's only averaging 98. And the second half, though, the tag, McInnes stopped tagging Daicos, so we felt, okay, now he's off the chain, he can really get going. And he had a really good third quarter, but as Hawthorn came back, it was a really good second half from the Hawks. I think they kicked 7 goals to 2 in that second half, so he really quieted down. So yeah, probably looking like it was a better decision to fade. So now he has the bye this week. Harry Sheezer 121 just continues to get it done. He hasn't gone under 120 this year. So yeah, the role he plays, and also just such a clean player. Hayden Young 108 in really good form now. Backed up his performance from last week with another good performance in the midfield, I must say. Tackling well. Just his inside midfield craft I think is really good too, and he's just a clean user. Most definitely. And scoring the same with 108, 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿 𝐿𝐼𝐿. Yeah, again, backed up his performance last week with another really good one against Sydney. He's been able to win a lot of centre clearance for West Coast, and he's able to get a lot of first possession too, and he's tackling really well. Again, his time on ground is a little bit annoying, 73%, but you know his points per minute is just through the roof. So he's gained over 100k now, and you could probably keep him as a defender for quite some time. He's putting out the points. Looking, I think apart from his 70, he's looking like a top 6 defender at the moment. Massimo D'Ambrosio, just talked about him before. Started this game off really slow. And just him out on that wing, well, that's what the wing can do for you. If it's a really congested game like it was in that first term, and also the ball wasn't really much down his side, he struggled to get involved. But got on a little bit in the second half, and his final term was really good. He made a few nice acts in a burst of a minute or two. And then I think Hawthorn had like 2 or 3 on the bench. Then he was spending half the quarter on the pine, unfortunately. So he probably could have gone a little bit higher than 55. SuperCoach, I think he got like 67 or 64 or something. He made that goal-saving effort too on the line. But yeah, break even 68. You could probably look to trade him out this week. With my trades, I'm probably going to keep him for 1 more week, and you know, if he scores well, I'll probably keep him again. But if he's no good, could look to move him on. Zach Williams is 69. There was a bit of concern late with him with the potential hamstring or calf injury, but good here. Michael Voss said in the presser there's no concern at all with Williams. Again, started the game off strong, but like how he's gone so far this season, just fizzed out in the second half. So, in my opinion, I'm not going to be moving him on yet because I think he's your safe 60-plus scorer, so he should just continue to gain the small amount of cash. But if you can upgrade him to like a top liner or a primo, then yeah, go for it. But I'll just keep him on my side for now. Also, best 18 this week. And then yeah, Hoare, again, shame he's injured. And Blake House, this is a bit of a concern now. He got a 30 backed up. His performance last week with another not so great one, 23-30, that's no good. Again, you could look to move him on, break even 55. But yeah, with my trades, I can't really trade him out, so we'll see how he goes. Connor Rozee, best on ground on Friday night. What a magnificent performance that was. His first half was one of the best first half performances I've seen in quite some time. I think he had like 25 touches and 3 goals. He was going nuts. Finished on 133, so yeah, the M1 selection of Rozee looking like a really good one. And it feels rewarding paying that extra 50k instead of Butters, because Butters has been fantasy-wise not a little bit hit and miss. Jack Steele put the C on him. The ground of Norwood have expected him to get a lot of tackles, and he sure did that. I think he had 10 tackles. He racked up the footy. He hand passed it a lot. He could have kicked that goal as well, but yeah, he's been in fantastic form for the Saints. He's back. He's just back in SuperCoach and Fantasy. Have him in both formats, and yeah, 131 it was in the end, so we'll take that as the captain score. 𝐚𝐞 𝐎𝐿, bit of a down week from him. JDOD are so hard team to score against, I think, this year, but it was disappointing. Just couldn't really find it, especially in that second half. So yeah, I was talking him up quite a bit throughout the reviews so far this season, but yeah, an 80, not the greatest there. Let's hope he bounces back against the Hawks. Nick Martin, a 114. Yeah, will be a top 6 defender this year for sure once he gets DPP. The role's disgusting. He's just a perfect fantasy player, really. Just gets a lot of. I don't want to discredit him and say cheap possessions, but that's really pretty much the role he plays. He's their nucleus on how they move the footy in the back half, and he just demands the footy as well when the Dons move out of their defensive 50. Riley Bonner, 94. Just the ultimate seagull, really. He was just getting a lot of cheek marks around the ground in the first half, and slowed down a little bit, but we take a 94. And I needed him to perform well because, as you can see, Jeremy Sharp left him on the bench. So I needed, because basically, if you're fielding Sharp and also 𝐚𝐿, you were fielding 4 rookies. So Bonner for me was my 4th rookie. I needed him to score well to try and nullify Sharp's score as best as he could. He kicked that goal in the last quarter as well, which is great. What a kick that was from 50 out. So yeah, happy with that. And yeah, been a really good starting selection. He's gained almost, I think, 200k. Yeah, so that's really good. He's going to be a good stepping stone to a primo mid. Matt Roberts, 69, started slow, kicked the goal in the final term. 𝐚𝐿, I was very close from fielding Sharp over 𝐚𝐿. I should have done it because of the oval they were playing on, or the ground, but yeah, I'm just going to have to cop that one. I was a bit unlucky the rookie ruler, Harvey Gallagher here and Wilson there, but it is what it is. Riley Sanders started the game off really well for the Bulldogs, and yeah, just an overall really good performance in the midfield, again, helping out with transition. Centre bounce work I'm really liking too. And then yeah, Jeremy Sharp, well, at least I own him. That's the important thing. At least I do own him. But yeah, 494k now. Made some really good money for us. And yeah, I'm really happy I traded him in after week 1. And then yeah, Jai Clark, 35, got subbed out. So yeah, that's going to stunt his cash gen a little bit, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, I just think, with how he plays, I don't know if his body is ready yet to be like, a consistent scoring midfielder. He's still very young, and his time on ground is pretty low too. Max scoring 109. We take that. Could have been a little bit higher though. I put the VC on him. He started the game like a house on fire, but 5-day break. He had a really good performance the week before as well against Port Adelaide, so he did fatigue a little bit in the second half, but Gawn's going to be a top 2 mid, I think, this year, so a good starting selection. Brodie Grundy, 93. Against West Coast, was hoping for a little bit more, so yeah, it's a pass really, but he's got the bye this week, so I'm going to be considering trading him out. And then for the forward line, 𝐼𝙗𝐿 𝐻𝐡𝐞, 108, but he went absolutely ballistic in SuperCoach. He was probably one of the best players on ground. Again, just so clean in the coalface. Was able to break forward and hit some targets nicely in sub 50 and also get a goal at the back as well. So yeah, what a starting selection he's been. And I think he's probably going to get another 10 votes in the coaches' votes on Monday. Sam Flanders, trade him in. So by the way, these were my trades. I traded out Zach Fisher for Flanders and Billings out for Gallagher. Fisher, I probably wanted to keep, but he was the only player I could trade out to facilitate bringing in Flanders, because long term it's still upgrading my team. Flanders will be a 20, 25 point better player. And he was today. New role for Flanders though. He played half back. I wasn't expecting this, and just looked like a seagull really. Sort of similar to maybe like a Sam Doherty, just floating out the back of stoppages, similar to 𝐼𝐻𝐿, I guess you could say too. And getting like marks from kick-ins. So I want to see him on the ball. I think he plays his best there and he scores a lot of his points there. But if he continues to score well in that position, well, I'll be happy. Tom Pell, 89, just could not get his hands on the footy, but wowee, 15 tackles, so that saved his score. James Jordan is 60, was hoping for something better on his last game for us, but at least he got a few points late because he was on like 8 points at quarter time. Harvey Gallagher, 51. So yeah, lost the rookie rule out there on Wilson, but I must say this on Gallagher. I don't mind the trade-in because I really like his role. I said this last week in my review, and it was good again against Geelong. He sort of plays on the wing, but then also he's actually getting a little bit of CBAs too. And he also, alongside that, he pushes up the ground into stoppages, sort of like a high half forward. So, yeah, I think his role's really good. He's getting in, just with that role, he's getting good positions to try and win the footy. He just was unable to win it much on Saturday night. So, yeah, I guess we'll just cop the 51. He's already gained us 50k, break even 7, so let's hope for a bit of a better score. But I think his floor, though, as a rookie, will be quite good just because of that role. So let's hope he can continue to score well. Harley Reid, 78. Breakout game from him. Kicked his first goal. Was breaking tackles left, right, and centre against our midfield. I don't know why our midfielders can never wrap up tackles. Our tackle efforts are terrible, but I can't discredit Reid. As I've been saying, his core strength is just remarkable, and he stands up and tackles so well. So he honestly could have gotten a little bit more. He was on the bench for like probably the last 10 minutes or so, but we take that. That's now really started to maybe kickstart his cash generation a little bit, and let's hope he gains confidence off that game, and now we can start to see him score well. Darcy Wilson, 79, was really big from probably the second term onwards, got involved a little bit more on the outside, kicked the goal as well, had the goal-saving tackle too, so we like to see that as well from Wilson. So, yeah, he'll gain some good money over the next few weeks, let's hope. Aaron Cadman, probably a little bit disappointing, 42. He was just getting eaten alive by Macca injuries, so he's only gained 34k and his break-even's 18, so yeah, probably maybe a bit of a slow burn for now, so we'll just keep him on our bench. So yeah, that's what it looks like for round 4, 21-32. Got a bit unlucky in the rookie roulettes, but still, we've moved up the ranks, so that's the most important thing. Round 5, this is what my trades are looking like early on. I'm going to be going James Jordan down to Sam 𝐼𝐸. 𝐼𝐸 was fantastic on debut, 95, break even, -22. Just get him in, and you could probably field him this week. For me as well, with no day costs. And then I'm going to be doing a ruck upgrade here. I might as well just get it done now, so I can just lock in my 2 ruckmen for the rest of the year. Brodie Grundy, look, he's scoring okay, but he's not a top 2 ruckman. He has the bye this week as well, so I need some cover, given that people own Cherry. So, Grundy out for Rowan Marshall. Let's get him in. He's been in really good form the last few weeks. He had a great game against Richmond, big in the second half, so 117, 136 against the Tigers. For me, it's a no-brainer. And with the money we saved on Gallagher instead of trading in Dempsey, Dempsey did score well though. We do have 151k, so that gives us flexibility for trades next week. We could bring in a gun mid. We could maybe bring in perhaps Taylor Adams, who I thought was quite good too. Yeah, there's plenty to think about, but for me, I think just upgrading a Marshall right away. Let's get it done. And that's now 2 weeks in a row we've brought in 2 primos, so we're starting to now upgrade our players a little bit more. But the cash generation's going well. It's best 18 this week. I think my team's in good shape, so yeah, let's hope we can continue to rise up the ranks heading into the next few weeks. Now let's look at my SuperCoach team. Rightio, so for SuperCoach, I managed to get a 2,310, top 6%. The score was for the round, and we have moved up in the rankings alongside Fantasy, up around 4,500 spots inside the top 7k, which you do love to see. So good start in the SuperCoach early on in the season. Our trades this week, we did, if I can remember, we did Billings out for Dempsey. We did trade out Caulfield, the dead rookie, to via DPP to get in Sam Darcy. And then for my third trade, we did do a straight swap to Jack Steele, which turned out to be a beauty. I was considering Flanders, but I just felt Steele with the matchup would score better, and he did. And Steele's looking like a top 8 mid this year, so yeah, happy to bring him in. So we'll kick off with the defence. Luke Ryan, 111. I think he was on 100 halfway through the third term, and he was having a really good game, but then he just couldn't get his hands on it. And the ball was living in their back half for probably the majority of the fourth term. So, but that, Ryan will be a top 6 defender this year for sure. His SuperCoach scoring so good, so that's probably a floor score from him, to be honest. But he could have gotten a little bit higher, but it is what it is. Harry Sheezel, 124, just a gun. Dan Houston, 106. So again, we're yet to see a ceiling score from him, which, it's a pass. Like, we started him the first 4 weeks, over 100, so it's all A-OK, but, This is why we brought in Houston, just because of his intercepting ability. But, Farrell and Burton have been able to take a bit of ball off him, and he just hasn't been able to rack it up yet. So we're still waiting for one. So still a good enough starting selection, but not, the most ideal from Houston so far. But, it's better than starting a not-so-great Primo for sure. Nick Dacos, 102. So, yeah, a bit better in SuperCoach. The second half with no target allowed him to really move freely. Work rate really good, but does have the bye this week. He's averaging a little bit better in SuperCoach, so... but he's gone down. Oh, boy, 34k. Break-even, 110, so that's sort of now nullified a little bit. Dan Brosio got a 63. Yeah, as I said in the fantasy segment, really big fourth term. Had the goal line saving tackle, so I think that benefited his score. And yeah, he's gained 23k, break even 49. Yeah, I'll probably keep him this week in the SuperCoach format. He seems to score better in SuperCoach too. 𝐓𝐴 Williams, 81, so score better in this format than fantasy. Yeah, really good first half, but again, fizzed out. But yeah, it is good to hear that he's all healthy. There's no injury concern from what we have heard from Michael Voss. Blake Howells did beat his break-even in SuperCoach with 46, and he has a 56 break-even, pretty much the same as fantasy. So I'll probably keep him for this week, and then maybe look to move him on to like a Sam 𝐼𝐶, because he'll be on the bubble next week. You don't have to necessarily bring him in this week. And then, yeah, Marty Hoare. I wouldn't say he's a dead rookie yet, because he's only out for 3 more weeks, so he could be back after the bye. Midfielders, Bontempelli, great performance he had on Saturday night against the Cats. Some of his best work against Geelong for sure. Was just, his kicking inside 50 was superb once again. So good to see him bounce back after a bit of a mediocre game against West Coast. I think his ankle looks good. He moved well. So yeah, we take that from our M1. Zach Butters, 119. Started the game off slow again, like he did the previous week, but yeah, really bounced back with a much better second term. And yeah, 119 in the end. So 127.3 is average. He's been a really good starting selection for me. Now, Wines was a little bit disappointing midweek when it was announced that he was out for this week. Just the 1 week hamstring injury, but we know usually hamstring injuries are longer than 1 week. So I had to get rid of him. I did want to keep him though, but it allowed me just to go straight to STEELE and lock in, I think, a top 8 mid. 142, went bang. Tackling really well, moving well. He's getting uncontested marks too, so yeah, he's just been overall a really solid play so far for the Saints to kick off this season. 𝐓𝐿 Miller, 89. So yeah, as I said again, the fantasy segment, quiet game from him. Riley Bonner, an 88. Much better performance than last week, it must be said. He had 17 turnovers against Essendon, but I felt today he actually played really well. Alongside the goal he got in the fourth quarter, he was kicking much better. He was picking apart targets well. He could have probably gotten a ton, I'd say. I think he's been a little bit harshly done by champion data. But we take an 88, especially in the best 22 format. And he's just still a bit of a risky player to own, because he could definitely churn out a 50 with his ability, but we'd take an 88. Matt Roberts, an 80. So, yeah, it was really neat by foot, though, with his possession. So we like that from Matty Roberts. 𝐵𝐾𝐿, 54. Just the ground didn't help him. Quiet game. Riley Sanders, an 82. Nice to see from the rookie. And, yeah, Darcy Wilson, 58. Didn't score as well as he did in fantasy. I think, he had a few questionable disposals. But, yeah, really liked his game, though. I thought he competed really well, especially in that fourth term. Got really amongst it. So, yeah, he's gained us a bit of money, so we like to see that. Let's hope he can just churn out some more 60s over the next few weeks. Jai Clark, yeah, subbed out, as I said before. Break-even still 11, though. But, yeah, that's really halted his cash generation for now. For the Rucks, Max Gawn, 129. Now, this was good, though. This is what really allowed me to have a good week. I saw the 129 from Gawn, and I'm like, I feel like I should take it. But then 𝐼𝐴 𝐞𝐿𝐼, looking at him, his lowest score so far this year has been a 128. And you're telling me he's going to score lower against West Coast. Now, we did actually struggle, of course, against West Coast, but 𝐴𝐿𝐼 did not struggle at all. So I decided to take the risk, and it paid off, 165. So, yeah, that's a massive 36-point gain there instead of taking the Gawn VC. Yeah, brilliant performance from him. Loved it. And then, yeah, also Grundy, 93. I think it was the same as SuperCoach, as fantasy, too. So, yeah, I was hoping a little bit more from him, but maybe not looking like the best starting selection necessarily. Could look to move on, perhaps. Maybe Cherry was the better option instead. Tom Powell, 73. The spells efficiency was pretty ordinary from him on Friday. Whilst he got an 89 in fantasy. Zach Fisher, still have him. I trade him out in fantasy. But yeah, SuperCoach, he went alright. He was pretty safe by foot on Friday, so we take a 75 from him. He's gone up a little bit, so we take that for sure. James Jordan, 57, so he's out this week. No brainer, he's got the bye. Harley Reid, always a better SuperCoach scorer from what I've seen so far this year, and it was on display again on Saturday. Breaking tackles, as we said before, and yeah, just a really damaging player too. So we like to see that from Harley Reid. I know a few people probably would have traded him out, so good we held on to him. Break even of 12. Ollie Dempsey, we brought him in this week. I think, as I said last week's review, he's genuinely a fieldable F6, and we saw that against the Dogs. Just a really good quality player. His work rate's great. He pushes up the ground. He's classy in the forward 50. He does the little things well, and we take an 80 from Dempsey for sure. Cabman, yeah, disappointing. I think against Macca for the most part. Was hoping for maybe a little bit more, but his break-even's still -3. 240k, let's hope he continues to rise. And the final player to round out the team, Sam Darcy. Good trade in this week. He was on the bubble, so it was really a no-brainer. Trade in with an 84. Kicked 3 goals, or 4 goals, I'm pretty sure it was. A career high. Was really good in the air with just that tall frame, so we love to see that from Sam Darcy. So now for the trades heading into round 5. Yeah, a lot to choose from, but the first obvious one is going Jordan out. Now, who am I going to go to? That is the question. It's been a massive, massive miss, though, not going Jeremy Sharp in SuperCoach. I really should have went with him. He was 123k. Should have just went, traded him in, but I didn't. So I could look to go with him, but, I'm not really gaining as much money, so maybe missed the boat on him. So one that I do like, and he was really impressive against Brisbane for sure in defence, Charlie Comben. Toby Pink was not the business, I think, early on this season. Comben comes in. And he was just racking up marks and having really good intercepting plays. And they played Geelong this week down and there at the Cattery, so he could get a lot of ball. He's only played 1 game though, so you don't really need to bring him in yet. But he's a player that could really score well. And considering how weak the forward line is, I think it's a good play to get in for now. So Common, I'll probably lock in. Considering Sharp though, for sure, he's probably about, I think, 25k more, but we'll consider. And then, yeah, a few options here. I could either go Grundy up to Marshall, or I could go Zach Fisher out to Flanders. I'm still up and down on what I should do. I'm feeling like I probably should get rid of Grundy, though, because he has the bye, so I want to cover that spot. Because I know a lot of top teams will be having Cherry, so I need to try and nullify his score a bit with just, as I said in the fantasy segment with trading and Grundy, just get in your gun R2 and set and forget for the rest of the season. But yeah, Flanders is a consideration. We'd have 25k left, but might go with Grundy out instead. So he's averaging 103. What's Marshall averaging? Probably should have checked this before the start of the video. Yeah, 114. So Grundy's actually been a bit of a better SuperCoach scorer. But again, with the buys I have, I probably need to cover that spot, I'd say. So yeah, for now, Grundy will be out for Marshall because he's had 2 really good weeks in a row. So Rowan Marshall will come in for me. There we go. 147 he had against the Tigers. So yeah, we'll go to Marshall for now. But yeah, we'll sit on this one throughout the week and maybe not go with something else. But we'll do that for now. 86k left over. That's what the trades are looking like for SuperCoach. But yeah, moving up the ranks in this format, which we like to see. So let's hope we can score well in the best 18 format. Let's now have a look at my league leaderboard updates for fantasy. Fantasy Prodigy has been on fire. His overall ranking is 49, so I think his gain ranks compared from last week. So as we take a look with his round 4 performance, he got a 22-17. That's a big score for this week. 575th overall in the round rankings. He decided to go Sheasel VC. Sarong let him down a little bit this week. He was a bit more quiet, which definitely helped me as a non-owner in both formats. But Bont went big for him. STEELE as well. Bonner was good for him too. And yeah, that's a really good fielded forward line, must be said. Dempsey, Reid, good for him as well. So he's looking like he is off to a ripping start this season, Lucas. And now across to SuperCoach. The highest scorer in my fantasy league is 𝐼𝐶𝐞 𝐎𝐥𝐝 He has an overall rank of 202. We love to see that. His team looking pretty schmick. Also Captain Heaney too. Jeremy McGovern, that's a really good trade in this week. I saw a few people going with him. He's been in sensational form. Really good game against the Swanies on Saturday. Harry Mackay, a bit of a down game. Could look to trade him out perhaps this week. And then, yeah, Jackson was not at his absolute best. Darcy coming back in though soon, so we'll see how his scoring goes. Looking like a pretty solid team. 𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐴𝐴 is probably one of the best players for the Bulldogs on Saturday night as well. And for the highest scorer of the round in my league, we've got Bont, 2,409. That is a monster score, and that's definitely pushed him up the ranks. Just outside the top 4,000, went with Heaney as the captain choice. With Gallagher on field, so hurt him a little bit, but yeah, just some big scores across the board here. Nut 502, Flanders was big, Gawn as well, Jack Steele, really good midfielders choices here. Green was a little bit quiet, but pushed to 110, so you take that from him. But yeah, just overall solid scorers there for Bont. So over on there is my round review for SuperCoach and Fantasy. As always, feel free to comment down below and let me know how you lot are going with your teams, who you're going to trade in this week. Love to hear your people's opinions. And yeah, that's it from me, pretty much everybody. And I will talk to you later. See you later, fellas.